Welcome to Blood, Sweat and TalanoaPodcast number 7. BST is a podcast with three guys from Puriro. We talk about health and well-being through a number of perspectives, sharing some of our life experiences and personal journeys, and always ready to engage. So like and join our Blood, Sweat and Talanoa page as we look to build our community. Kia orana, maloni, talawhalawa, I'm Te Ho, and my two brothers here, Tiare and Shane. How we going, fellas? What's happening?
Yeah, beautiful day this morning. So, kia orana.
Yeah, I'm good. Maloni, te hau. And Charlie, I'll get you to get us underway and you introduce our guests, the guy sitting
Right,
next to me.
awesome. Yeah, kia orana tātou katoa. We have an awesome guest here today. Tēnā koe, Tama. Would you like to share your mihi with us? And we'll continue from there. Thank you.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko waihau no hea, ko ōkahu moko tōku maunga, ko te mamari tōku waka, ko whangaroa tōku wahapū, ko te toa wai tōku awa, ko Ngāti Kahu ki whangaroa tōku iwi, ko Ngāti Kaitangata tōku hapū. Ko Tama Hau, no te uri o te tai Tokerau. So my name's Tama. I'm from the north, from the far north. Born 12/10/54 in a place called Matangirau. Actually, I was born in a taxi on the way to the hospital in Kaio. My uncle Len's taxi, so I never quite got to the hospital. He turned around, took mum home, and started my life there. We had a farm, like cows, horses, pigs, chickens, the usual stuff. There's brothers and sisters, 12 full brothers and sisters, 2 whāngai brothers and 1 half sister. So 15 of us kids in the family, and mum and dad. And then we'd also get other whānau that would come and live with us from time to time. So we had a big whare.
Where were you in the pecking order in terms of 15?
I was 8 or 7th, depends on which side. 7th from the bottom, 8th from the top. So round about the
Middle.
So grew up there learning to fish and hunt at a very young age. I remember like when I was about 4 or 5, the old man taking us out fishing on his boat. And we stayed out in the harbour, and we only in a 12-footer dinghy. So at night time, we just had to go to sleep. He said, if you're tired, just go to sleep, and he'll just carry on fishing. So there's about 3 of us kids and the old man. So it was an experience I'll never forget, because you're out there in that big ocean, and you're at God's will. But he knew what he was doing, because he got us home safe.
Nice.
What's that, the Pacific Ocean on that side, eh?
Still in the Tasman. They're still in the New Zealand, still in the New Zealand waters. Mind you, though, a bit further up, the Pacific and the Tasman met, and there was a sandbar where you could actually, it's this place called Tauranga Bay, the sandbar where you could actually walk out on the sandbar, and it looked like you're walking on water, and that's where the Tasman and the Pacific met. They built the sandbar, and you could actually walk on it, and the waves would be over the top of the sandbar, but you couldn't see it, and you could walk out for nearly a kilometre on this water. So people, you'd come up there and take photos and do stuff like that.
I've been to Kaio. I used to look after the mussel farm up there.
Oh, yeah.
What's my you don't blink, man, you'll miss it. I haven't been there for a while, but used to have like that one-way bridge to cross over to the other side.
Yep. Yep,
And,
heading up north, you have to go over a one-way bridge.
yeah, and then if you keep going around, well, there was a campgrounds, Kaio, right at the end there.
Yeah,
Or the
Whangaroa.
fishing. I said we used to head out
Uh,
for.
so the camp there, was owned by the locals, but yeah, come across hard times and sold it to a Pākehā fella.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of our whānau stayed there at the camp. And then over in Tauranga Bay, there's another camp. Tauranga Bay is like a holiday resort, and my nephew actually they own it now. Um, the Rush whānau, so
Okay.
nephew Eric and his brother Baru.
So do I just mention Uncle Tama to get a discount?
Or maybe we should all go up on like a men's trip. That's for.
Oh, hey, we just done our marae up, and you fellas can stay there. It's flash airs, $50 a night.
Wow.
You fellas can stay at our marae. It's brand new now.
Yeah, you guys have lifted it up above the ground, eh? I've seen it. I think there was a documentary.
What the marae?
Yeah.
Yes, above because there used to be flooding.
Oh, wow.
You can look on it if you want to look it up. It's Te Tōwai Marae, and you'll
Te
see
Kawa
it's
marae.
been brand new built. Looks flashier than some of these hotels in the cities.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a documentary on it.
take your word for that picture. We'll jump on that van, that bus. It's us.
Yeah.
The Red Ute.
So,
So yeah, pretty much grown that early part of your life, we've grown up in the country.
Yeah, up until 4 or 5, went to school, started school up there. Went to school for a couple of months, and then this migrational thing was happening where like they were getting all the big families to move from the country to the city, and so I think in the early days, I think we were one of the first. We moved from Matangiro, Kaio to Auckland. So it's a big storm. House got blown, or part of the house got blown down, and my dad and my brothers, 2 older brothers, not the Whangai brothers, they stayed with us. The 2 older brothers moved to Auckland and get us ready to, get our house ready up there. But then that storm happened. Part of the house blew down, and so we ended up having to go a little bit earlier than we were going to wait till 1960, but we ended up going up in 1959. 3 taxi trips.
Free taxi trips.
Uncle Lynn took the first lot.
Oh, yeah.
The next lot, so 3 taxi trips. We ended up in Auckland. Actually, only 11 brothers and sisters, because the last brother was born up in Auckland, the youngest. And so in the preparations, we never had a bed for him, so he ended up sleeping in the top drawer. His claim to starting to life.
Now in Auckland, you moved to South Auckland in terms of the family.
Yeah.
Whānau.
So we moved to Mangere and Otahuhu, or Mangere and Otahu, they used to say back in the day. Went to Mangere Bridge Primary. So that's a story in itself. First day of school, we all jump on the bus, and the older brothers were supposed to kind of like watch us and get us off when we got outside the school, but they jumped off with their mates and forgot about us.
wow.
We ended up doing the tour around Auckland, Whistles Beach. The bus driver stopped there, gave us ice creams, and then he took us down to Central Police Station in Auckland.
Oh,
So our first introduction to Auckland, we end up at the police station. Signs of maybe.
Lucky you had a good bus driver. He had money to shout you guys ice cream.
yeah.
Ice cream out of it.
Yeah, but then we stayed there. We stayed at the police station for the day until my dad finished work, because he worked at Westfield Freezing Works with my 2 brothers. And then so he came over and got us, and gave us a bit of a growling. But when we got home, he ended up giving the 2 older brothers a bit of hiding. I say hiding, but not really. But we call it a hiding. Anytime you're going to cry, it's a hiding. Yeah. So that was our introduction to Auckland, the buses, the school. So yeah, eventful.
Look, Tama, I'm really interested. So, in those 1960s, it was the beginning of sort of that, as you say, the drift from to the urban centres for a lot of Maori. Also, the beginning of sort of a larger volume of migration from the Pacific. What was South Auckland like at that particular time, in that particular era?
Mm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was just a multicultural. Like there's a whole lot of us moving into this different space. Like us from the country, that our neighbour was, a fair way away, and transport was horses or walk.
Whoa.
And then, cars were around, but they weren't kind of the given thing where you could just jump on the car and go down the road.
Yeah.
The, only the wealthy had the cars back then. So yeah, it was different. Um, and when we first moved there, it was mainly just two Maori families, two Pacific families, and the rest were Pākehā whānau, all the families all the way down the down the road. Uh,
Whoa.
we kind of you kind of try to stick to your own, but there's not enough people there. Like just all the Māori stick together, and all
Yeah.
the Pākehā stick together. So we all ended up as because you're kids, you're not really racially inclined. I mean, you notice the difference in colour, but after a while, you just want to play with fellas, and if you want to play sports or anything, you
Yeah.
have to make up the numbers. So in the end, they all came and played, and so yeah, that's how we got to know our street. Got to know all the kids in the street. Yeah, it was great. It was a huge change from living up home
Mm.
there.
Yeah,
Just go out fishing, go out getting puppies, or go out hunting, or we had to stay up on the ridge while the older ones went did the big hunting or anything like that until we were old enough. And then all of a sudden we're in the city, and then you want food, go to the shop, and
Yeah.
go to the shop. You got to have money, and we didn't have
Yeah.
money.
Ah.
So it was a real cultural shift, eh?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
so school in Otahu and that, and then yeah. So how long were you in Auckland before the next move to Wellington?
Oh, Ricky's, till I was 17. So 11, 12, 12 years, 12 plus years. Um, the old man, when he started out at the freezing works at Westfield, he met a lot of the leagueies there,
Yeah.
and most of them played for they either played for Tahuhu or Mangere East back then. So he decided that we should all go and play league for Tahuhu. He didn't want us playing rugby. I don't know why. At school, we were forced to play rugby. Yeah, you played rugby, you didn't play league. And
mm.
as I got older too, that was the crazy thing, like when I was 12, 11, 12, 13, they said, oh, well, you gotta start playing for the college now. And I say, oh, my dad wants us to play league. He goes, well, you can't play rugby in league, so you have to take a pick. And I said, I'll choose league. And so 14, they said, oh, look, we want you to come and play in the in the first 15, because I was playing second 15, because you were allowed to play second 15, but
But not first.
not first. Yeah,
Mm.
there's always that stigma about league and rugby. And then they said, oh, so we want you to come and play. And I ended up going away to the summer camp with them down in Tauranga. We spent some time down there training. But when I come back, they said, oh, well, look, you're going to play 7 or 6, flank. And I was going, yep, no, I don't mind. And they said, but you have to stop league.
Oh.
Mm.
They really, yeah, it was, we had no choice. You either played league or you didn't. You played rugby or you didn't.
Yeah.
So I ended up just saying no. My dad wants us to play league, so I stopped and I ended up carrying on playing league.
Oh, Tama, just one. Did did you start under fives or did you start under tens? Or
Yeah, well, I moved up there when we were five, so yeah, straight away from the under fives. Um, I enjoyed the league up there because it was really technical. They taught you how to tackle, the types of tackles you had to make. Um, whereas when I come down to Wellington, it's a little bit more physical, but a lot less technical. So yeah,
under fives.
enough for yourself down, mate. Up there, you played. Yeah, I always kind of like thought about it as in Auckland, you had a job, and part of whatever if you because I played in the centres or in the forwards, you had a specific role. But in Wellington, you're the backs. You go over there and train over there. It was a little bit um, different, I'd say. That's how I'd say it.
Tama, who was at the club then at Otahu? Because a very sort of very branded and known club in rugby league across New Zealand. So around the time that you were involved with the club, who was there?
Oh, crikeys. Uh, Head coach that back then, Joe Gwynn, I think. Uh, a lot of Kiwis come out of Otahu. Roy Christian is a Kiwi centre captain in the 71 lot. Um, their brother Ryan Christian, who was just as good. Uh, he joined. I think he made the Kiwis later on. Um, yeah.
So was Mark Graham at the club at the time?
Oh, okay. So those guys, They were a grade lower than me. So
Oh,
Oh,
I played with Mark's older brother Paul, and so they were making waves back then. I mean, we had a good team, and our team. I think a couple of our guys made the Kiwis later on in life. Uh, but the team that Mark Graham and them were in, that was a real special team. Uh, Lowy was coaching them.
even then,
Way back.
Well,
Yeah.
not when they first started.
later on, yeah,
Took over and started coaching them.
Yeah.
But he had Mark, Gary Prome, Owen Wright,
right.
Dan Marpo.
yeah.
There's quite a few of them that they were all in the one team, and they all progressed through to the Kiwis together.
Yeah,
But
Gary Pro.
yeah.
Gary Pro.
Also, probably an association from that club too that you mentioned was the between the Tuas and the Wikis
actually through school,
through school.
the Wikis.
Ah,
So
Okay.
Reverend Wiki Senior, and his brother Trevor. Oh well, we knew the whole family. We all grew up together, and our school was Mangere Bridge Primary. So we all played rugby and league together, bull rush, and like you get to know these guys, and they're just your mates.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, something happens, and they become these. They go next level, and so I don't know. It's like you take it for granted that even though they're representative players, they're just your mates,
Mm.
and that's how I looked at it. Was all these guys, and I think that was my whole outlook to league is like I'm playing with my mates.
Yeah.
I love playing with my mates and doing the team thing together. And we had good coaches when we were in Otahu that taught us that it's not about the individualistic thing, and I think that stuck with me the most. You're out there to do a job for your team, and you do the job the best you can. And so, um, like my older brothers, my oldest full brother, he made the Auckland side quite young, and kept getting through through the Auckland sides through the grades. My second oldest brother was the same. The third oldest brother was the same.
Oh.
My fourth oldest brother didn't play any sport, decided he was going to be different. Fifth oldest brother, he played rugby, and his claim to fame was he got selected for the Junior All Blacks trials.
Oh,
So he went to celebrate with his mates and forgot to turn up to the trials the next day.
Oh.
Didn't quite turn up on time.
Oh.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's how it was back then. It was still kind of like amateur, even though you got those chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, so us younger ones, no, we didn't make any. I didn't make any Auckland sides. So, but our team was we had a good team. We kind of like unbeaten for a couple of years as well
oh,
as those guys down below us.
yeah.
So,
So that probably was a really good sort of foundation in terms of your move to Wellington later.
yeah, it was. It was. And I look at it like this, like when I came down here, I'd taken a couple of years off playing league simply because, 16, 15, 16, 17, experiencing life. And I actually came down to Wellington to meet my future father-in-law. And we only come down for Easter weekend, but we ended up, I never left.
There we go.
Well, you never went back. You never went back home.
Um, I was just, I might as well.
Yeah.
When I walked up the driveway when I was going to meet my father-in-law, and along the driveway there were all these crates of beer, and I just looked at them and I went, "Oh man, look at all these empty crates!" And one of the guys goes, "They're not empty, bro." And I turned around, and picked it up. Holy crap! And 64 dozen beers,
64.
crates, 64 dozen,
Great.
and they were out there to celebrate. So.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was my introduction to Wellington.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, you're right.
Whereabouts was that in Wellington?
And Wilson Street.
Wilson Street.
Yeah.
So there's your initiation to the
Tufano.
So, yeah. No, that was me. And that party went from all weekend. And get up, go to work on Monday, get back into it again. Tuesday, come back, get into it again. And then the following Thursday, we're going to a birthday up in Palmerston. So off we went to Palmerston, and I wasn't going to take any chances because and be in a car where somebody might be a little bit drunk. So I said, "Oh well, I'll drive."
Yeah.
So I drove one of the cars just to make sure that you
Got home, man.
But oh man, what an introduction! And one of the guys I actually met, he was he played league for St George, and he said, "Bro, come up and have a run with us." You played league, eh? And I went, "Yeah, I played in Auckland." Yeah. So I went there and played for their senior first side, and I thought, crackers, I haven't played for a while. I shouldn't be playing senior first because I didn't know senior first was not the top team. I thought, why are they picking me for the top team? No, I'll go and play for one of the other teams. And then they said, "Oh, well, no, this actually isn't the top team. There's another team that's a bit higher." So I played a couple of games for this senior first, and then this guy, Maury Biddington, comes down and he goes, "We want you to come and play for the Prems." And I was going, here, like, still a young fella up in Auckland, I wouldn't even been looked at to go and play Prems because I was too young.
Yeah.
But in Wellington, it was just a little bit different. So I learned this little fish in the big pond in Auckland to being the big fish in the little pond in Wellington. Especially with St George at that stage.
Yeah. All right. What year was that anyway, Tama? What year was that?
74.
Yeah.
50 years ago. 50
Yeah.
years. So, yeah.
So you're saying you found sort of Auckland a lot more sort of technical, flowing, and so what was that first impression when you sort of say it was little bit more physical in terms of Wellington football?
A little bit more. I played my first game for the Prens, and I was playing centre. Yeah, they chucked me at centre, outside centre, and I went into tackle. Well, I didn't know names by then, I was only new. I found out it was John Whitaker.
Oh, yeah, John Whitaker.
I found out I
Oh,
went into
Kingfisher.
tackle and, I
remember?
went low. I went, because that's we're taught, stop him first. So went in low to do the, and he just leaned forward, bent down, and stuck his elbow straight in my forehead.
Oh, whoa.
Concussion, first tackle of the game. Carted off. I didn't get carted off actually. Got the magic water sprayed on me.
Man.
Yeah.
Couple of slaps on the face. Hey, you okay? You okay? Yeah, I'm all good. Okay, then, and then back into playing again. But I was still seeing a little bit concussed, and then the coach goes, "Oh no, we've been taken off." So yeah, not the best of introductions to.
That's debut.
So that didn't go too well, and then so I went back and played senior first, and then they came and got me again. And said, "No, I thought because like if you miss games, you go back down the grade. So I just automatically went back, and the guy come back and got me. And goes, no, you're playing for this team. You come back to training up here. Oh,
Well,
yeah. In Auckland, if you miss games or if you get hurt, start
Make
back,
your way back. Yeah.
make your way back. Prove yourself. So I went back and I played my second game for the Prems, and I think I got injured. And so I was off for a couple of weeks, and then I ended up playing senior first again. And my first game back for senior first, we played Gold Coast, and then got knocked out by this guy with an elbow, just elbowed me straight in the head, knocked me out. And I was going,
Gold Coast,
Gold Coast,
Australia.
yeah. That
Lovely
was
beers.
Bears.
Carpety Bears.
Carpety Bears.
And then I found out that the guy that knocked me out was another Kiwi. His name was Gary Smith.
Gary Smith.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I was like, well, why the hell are these? What's happening here? How come we don't play league down here? Because I was going in for legal tackles, and then elbow.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh well, I got to toughen up, otherwise I'm not going to last very long. Luckily, I lasted a fair while.
Oh, that's yeah.
Ruthless, those years.
So I enjoyed the change. I mean, like playing league in Auckland compared to playing league down in Wellington was a lot more physical down Wellington, and I enjoyed it after a while because you're young and you want to show people that hey, I'm not scared and I'm not a sissy, so I can play this game too. So ended up I really enjoyed the physical stuff. I never went out to beat people up, but if someone was going to have a go at me, I'd pick my time and place to pay back, so to speak. But I enjoyed the league. I enjoyed the running. I enjoyed the physicality, and I enjoyed playing in the wet.
In the wet, in the cold.
Yeah, so I have a question, Tama. So when you moved to Wellington, did you continue with your what you learned back at home, your fishing and stuff? Because there's some good spots in Wellington.
That's the thing, is that every year we'd go back. When I was up in Auckland, we'd go home every year. So when I was in Wellington, I'd try to keep that up as well.
Yeah.
Back, because every year you go back and you go out fishing, go out hunting. So you learnt those things, and so they were ingrained in you.
Yeah.
So it was something that I really loved doing.
Is that something you carried on when you were in Wellington? Like, did you go on the wharf, or do you have your secret spots in Wellington there somewhere?
I'd go out with mates, yeah. Not as often as I did when I was young, but yeah, kept it up for a while. I think just the whole environment changed down here, and so it got less and less.
Tama, I just want to ask you something. Back to the just with you were playing in an era where it wouldn't be unusual that you'd be playing against an international,
Yeah.
sort of representative players. What was it sort of like in terms of a competition of having that ability to actually go up against guys that were representing New Zealand at the time?
Like, because when you're in Auckland, you see those guys around. They're around you all the time,
Mm.
and so, but you see them from afar. Even when you're like, when I was playing for Tokerau, like they all played in the higher grade. So we'd go and meet them in the club rooms and just hang around them and talk to them every now and then. And they'd come and talk to us and tell us what to do. If you want to get better at this game, this is what you should be doing.
Mm.
So when I come down and then I started playing premiers, St George St George had a few Kiwis of their own. So I actually when they took me up to training for the first time, um, I recognised Eric Carson straight away because he's from Auckland and he was the Kiwi halfback.
Oh.
He's going, oh, Saints got him down here to do some coaching or stuff. I go, no, he plays for us. Oh, Lee. And then I went into the changing sheds and I was looking for a spot to sit down and this guy just moves over, doesn't say anything, just moves over, so he gives me, and I'm sitting there now looking at him. Hell, that's Phil Orchard. And it was just like normal. Like they just sat there and with everybody else and it was just like normal and these guys were Kiwis and I'm still this young fella going, like I'm in awe of these Kiwis guys and I'm sitting there looking instead of trying to put my gears on and all that, I'm kept staring over at him. And but they didn't say nothing. They just kind of like, come on, hurry up, get out to training. And then the coach walks in, and there was another Kiwi, Gary Woolard, and it was like,
Far out. He's a Kiwis, eh?
yeah. So like there was three Kiwis playing in our team at that time.
Mm.
Then I found out St George had three Kiwis and about 7 Wellington players as well.
Whoa.
Really stacked team, and they were making top 4 every year. But I have to say, we only won it once.
So, what was Nolan around then? When
Yeah, Nolan,
Two
4
player?
Kiwis. I forgot about
four
Nolan.
Kiwis, yeah, Nolan.
The two
Yeah,
He was there.
sure.
Um, Wayne Greenland, Wayne Tyler.
Greenland.
There's just a whole lot of guys. Bruce
Yeah.
Tatnall, Brian Jolly, Billy Smith.
Right, Jolly.
Yeah. It
Tama,
was a real privilege.
having those sort of caliber of players, though, do you think it sort of definitely improved sort of players coming through in terms of being able to learn off those players of experience and that week to week?
Well, if you didn't learn, it was through no fault of these other guys because they're always willing to teach you.
Yeah.
Always willing to sit and talk with you before games, after games, show you how to prepare yourself for the games. So it wasn't hard to learn how to adjust and play Premier League back in those days.
Yeah.
And if you didn't go to training, like if you turned up late to training even, you're a reserve. And if you missed training for whatever reason, even if it was a legitimate reason, more than often you didn't play. That's how tough it was back in the day.
Yeah.
And so, but that brought the competition out really. Like everybody wanted to play. Everybody, heck, I wanted to play with all these Kiwis and these Wellington reps. I just wanted to show them, I can match it with you guys. I'm good enough to be in this team. That kind of stuff. But you had to earn it, eh? You really had to earn your place back in those days.
Yeah. Now you're a member of the last successful St George team to win the premiership in 1977. So, and then I know you were at the Hut Rec with the boys a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago,
Yep.
grand final appearance for the club against Wainui, and obviously a bit heartbreaking in terms of an extra time loss in that. But I was thinking, what's your a couple of things? What's your memory of that year in terms of '77 and the St George team, but also the memories of that grand final win 8-2 over Petone.
It's something in my life I'll never forget. I can remember not almost every moment of the game because as you get older, things dim a little. The tries, the runaway tries become the length of the field thing. How it goes. I still remember. I still remember the physicality of that game. I mean, you had guys like I was playing against guys like Vern Winitama, the rep, rock man, top karate man.
Yep.
I do when you get to know him, a really top bloke. But yeah, on the paddock, you're not friends, and he would hammer into you if he got the chance. And if you wanted to do the same to him, he didn't mind. You know, it's all part of the game. But they had a real physical team. Mike Edmonds is the centre.
Mike Edmonds.
So they had a big, strong team. And Phil Orchard didn't play in that final that year because he got injured.
Oh,
And so it was
Oh,
and another guy, Wayne Tyree, Manu Wayne Tyree.
well, yes.
Yeah, so we were looking at one another, looking at our position and going, well, we're in for today, bro. And he goes, yep. And then we would say, well, if things get a bit tough, all we need to do is just look around and we've got all our mates to back us up. In the end, there's only 13 against 30. It doesn't matter who the opposition is. And yeah, and that's the way we took it. We had this madman of an Aussie guy on the wing with us too. He just he flew into tackles. He got smashed and just get up and start laughing. So they kind of put everybody on the. If that guy can take, we can take. We're a lot bigger than he is. So just let's
Wow.
get stuck into this game. Um,
Who was that, Toma? What was his name?
Aaron, he didn't stay too long with the club.
Mm.
He went home. He went around the country. Yeah, I've
Wow.
lost track of that boy. But got a guy. Uh, Ruben played. No, Ruben didn't play that game. Ruben Wiki, but his brother Trevor did.
Trevor.
Uh, Trevor. This is Ruben Wiki Senior, not the young fellow, of course. Um, Trevor was a real gifted player. I remember one game we played, and he's a big boy. He's a big boy. He wasn't the fittest, but big boy. But he had a gift. Uh, so he played second row, but he'd always take the first pass, and then people were expecting him to run, and he'd run, check, and hold the ball out in front of him. And as soon as you hold the ball out in front of people, it's going to see what you're going to do, so they slowed down. So I remember we played Randwick up at Rugby League Park, and he went to pass the ball right, and so the defence went right, and then he turned the ball back in, and so the rest of the defence went left, and he just walked over the try line and put the ball down, and it was oh, had the whole crowd just open up in the grandstand. This is that Rugby League Park, so
Yeah.
they said if you guys have ever had, you know,
Yeah.
it was, and I'll never forget that. It made the opposition look silly, and that's the type of player we had in our team. We had I said the Kiwis, the Wellington Reps, and then we had guys like Chirp, all in the play league.
Hey, I have a question. I'm not sure whether old Dave Tupaya, was he in that era or did he come after?
Dave, he came a little bit. Yeah, he was there,
Because he
but
was
he
one
was
of the young fellas I was told.
only a
Like he
young
was
fella, eh?
young.
Yeah, yeah. I think he did play a few games or maybe no, it was next year. But the years seem to run into one another for me right now.
Yeah.
But he was there. He was there. He was there and thereabouts.
Because as well as being a club player, you also played representative football at Wellington, Central Districts. Sort of, what was those experiences like in those days as well?
Um, yeah, that, I think that the meeting those Kiwi boys that when I first came to Wellington was the was the big thing for me. And it made me realize that hey, they're just like you. You just play your game, do your thing, and you too can be whatever you want to be. And so I was quite happy. And then when I made the Wellington side, it was like, oh, we want you to come play in the Wellington team. And I was just, oh well, here's another experience. Can meet some another level of players, and then. But I'd already been playing with Kiwis, so it didn't kind of phase me too much. So I just tried to do what the coach wanted me to do. Um, I enjoyed the experience because you travelled with a team with the Wellington team, and we played in up, played Taranaki, played uh, Hawke's Bay, played West Coast, Canterbury, uh, went around all around
New
um,
Zealand.
mid central North Island and the South Island as well, and met a whole lot of players. A lot. The game was a little bit faster, but I think my memory of playing rep football is like that was back to being like when I was a kid, and it was like playing Auckland League again because the league was a little bit more refined as you got up and played for the Wellington side and then for the district side. You really did have to stick to your role and learn your role. Whereas when you're playing, even when you're playing premiers and playing senior first, you had quite a few. You could roam the paddock, not roam the paddock, but if you were out of position, as long as you're there to make the defense, or if you as long as you're there to do a hit up for your teammates. It didn't really matter. So I enjoyed that part. That it got a little bit more clinical as you got higher and higher. But it didn't. I didn't have that desire to be a Kiwi or to be the best that I could be. I just enjoyed the being around with my mates, and it wasn't until the Central Districts coach said to me, mate, if you kind of like applied yourself and added a bit more finesse to your game, you could be, you could probably play for the Kiwis, or you might even get a trial this year. And I was like, uh, yeah, I really didn't know how to take it then because I wasn't looking to play Kiwis or anything like that. I was just wanting to help my mates be the best that help my teammates out. And I think when I finished playing, when I finished playing league, I think that kind of like stuck with me. Is that I never gave myself that opportunity to be the best that I could be. I always wanted just to be a team man. I always just wanted to watch my team win, watch my mates be in a winning team with my mates. That's why I know I'd never forget that 77 grand final. And just adding to that, when we went to watch the boys a couple of weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, a bit longer, I really, really wanted them to win it
Yeah.
because um, you don't want to be stuck with that. The last team to win it was 1977. We want St George won a grand final. St George won another grand final, and that's how I look at it. And so I really was really hoping that they would win it. And when they were 18-0 up, hey, here it comes. Because I'd been to a couple of grand finals with St George and watched them, and we kind of frittered it away. So maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Yeah.
Maybe we can get some little bit of encouragement from yourself in the coaching areas of St George. to apply that to Ken, Coach Ken, eh? You reckon, guys?
Coach Kid.
What's that?
Kid.
That's
Okay,
Ken's the coach for the Premiers
Kid
this
Rugby.
year, eh?
Yeah.
2024.
But now I know, Tama, though, that you're interested, you were still playing when you started to sort of move into the coaching area. Tell us about that.
that was after that talk. It was like it hit me like a blimmin', I don't know, like someone had blimmin' head hide me again. But didn't concuss me, just made me see things a lot clearer, I reckon.
Mm.
Um, when I came back, I decided, well, hey, I hadn't put enough in for my own self. So, um, I got what I deserved. I played in those rep sides, but I didn't really apply myself to be the best that I could be. And then I thought, well, then, so what do you get out of all of this? What do you get out of your game? Because like that coach Sporty, he kind of like struck a light in me, and so I decided, right, I'm going to coach, and I'm going to be the best coach I can be to these guys, and help them do the best that they be the best that they can be, so they can aspire to being Kiwis, to being rep players, to being the best forms of themselves. And so I did. I did. We St George was we were our by that time. This is like what 82, I think. Yeah, 82. I'd moved privately. I'd moved out to Porirua. St George were our teams were dwindling simply because of like how I talked about the migrational shift from
Mm.
the country
Mm.
to the
From
city.
country to city, yeah.
Well, in league, the same thing was happening. The league was moving from the city to the suburbs.
Yeah.
So when I moved to Porirua, and then saw the nursery there, it was like, hey, we need to move the club out here. We need to move the club out to Porirua. So that stuck in my head for a couple of years. But then as soon as I realised I wanted to coach, I just walked around Porirua and just watched all the talent, all the kids playing on the streets. And then I was up the mall and I was going, oh, actually, I was going to Ngātauni Park to see how many teams were training up there. Because Ngātauni Park, Ascot Park, they were the training areas back then, Cannons Creek. Went down to Cannons Creek, saw a couple of teams, went up to Ascot Park, saw a couple of teams, went to Ngātauni Park, nobody.
Mm.
So I went up to the mall and I see all these kids playing up in the mall, and I was going, what the heck? There's a
Like
league,
touch, eh?
but nobody's training down there, and they're all playing touch up at the mall.
Yeah.
This was, and then I just asked them, so hey, where's your coach? Oh, he doesn't come sometimes, so we just come and play touch. And oh, what doesn't he? Isn't he full time coach? And he goes, oh, he just one of the parents just helps out.
Mm.
And so I just said, oh, what's his name? And they told me, and I said, oh, I'll go and see him. So I went to see this guy. I won't get names. I went to see him, and I said, hey, are you coaching those guys up there? And he goes, oh, I'm just filling in because no one's coaching. And I said, oh, I want to coach. So is it all right if I coach the team? And they go, oh, yeah, you coach. And so that was my first experience, 1982, coaching St George, and they were the under 17s then.
Wow.
Um, and
And you had a bit of a few sort of emerging stars in that team as well, didn't you?
yeah. It was like these. I was watching them playing touch on on the car park up at Waitangi Mall. Just watching
Mm.
them play touch. You could see the skill. You could see the toughness. You could see the desire to actually enjoy themselves and get out there and do their thing. And it wasn't just one or two that stood out. It was, that they were all into that to be the. Oh, they really enjoyed it. And so I just walked over and I says, "Hey, um, you guys got a coach?" No. Well then, oh no. Hey, I talked to the guy, and so I'm going to coach. So meet you down at Natoni Park on Tuesday at such and such a
Just
time.
time.
And so that was my start of my coaching career. And at
Whoa.
the same time, Natoni Park didn't have any lights.
Yes.
Never had. So that was another thing I had to do. So while I was trying to coach and all that, I was still working. I was working
Yeah.
like youth breeds out, youth in Pururua. Um, so I had some links to people that could get us some funding. And plus, we still had the St George committee, and most of us were out in Pururua. So I was saying, "Oh, we need to get some lights and stuff."
Portable lights and generator.
Yeah, generator. But they thought I meant, oh, we can't pay for put lights up around the field. And I said, "Oh, no, we'll just get a mobile thing and just
Mm.
put it up and pull it down when we finished." And I don't know how many bloody years did I do that for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon.
During my formative years, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how we started at
Yeah.
Natoni Park with the Young Bucks, under
Mm.
17s then. Some good players in that team.
Yeah, who were they? Tama? Who were some of those guys that you
Being
first?
coached, yeah.
Uh, Mosey Valvasa, Brian Beaton, Orsini Nala, Orsini. Crikey, it's Peter Toma,
He's
Peter
talking
Tua.
about
Chris Tittle.
Chris.
Sure.
There's this one guy. Let me tell you about this one guy. This is one guy that we used to call Troy the Boy. His name was Troy Winiana. And he didn't look like much. He just he never he reminded me of so much of myself. He came to play, but he wanted to just play with his mates. But when as soon as the game turned on, he was this different. He was this beast, and he could play. I mean, not me, him.
Yeah.
He could play, and so like I was saying, mate, if you put some training in, and you could go a long way. And he goes, yeah, but he just wanted to be with his mates. That's what he wanted, and so I could respect that. So I, and then that's when I started to realize that hey, I understand these kids, and hopefully they can understand me. That not all of these kids want to be Kiwi players. Not all of these kids want to be Wellington rep players. They just want to come and play with their teammates, but they don't want to let their teammates down too. And so I thought, okay, let's try and get them fit. So, okay, put the ball down. We're going to be doing these things, and you know, uh, 20, 40, 60 meter sprints, 80 meter sprints. But I give them time to recover because I was starting to learn how to coach and I'm getting all my coaching books together. And then it didn't work. They didn't like it. They going, oh, you just like the rest. You just want to do that kind of stuff, and we want to play league. We want to play with the ball, and so yeah, had to change the training to using the ball or playing games, and
Mm.
they enjoyed it a lot better. But then I had to say to them, hey, look, fair enough. You're going to get your time with the ball, but you have to do, in order for you to play at your maximum for 80 minutes, you have to have fitness. And so it was like a trade-off. And so they said, yeah, okay, we can do this, we'll do that. And that's how that first team came about.
Wow.
Yeah,
There was that under 17s that won the grand final that year, right?
yeah, 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 we did.
I think, Coach, sorry for interrupting, but I think one of them was my brother, Al,
Oh, yeah,
cousin Johnny Pedro.
yeah, Johnny Pedro.
I think Rob, Inu's younger brother, Rob. and another guy maybe was it Tassini you mentioned Tassini Ngalo.
Yeah.
Tassini
Look,
Ngalo.
I only mention a couple of names is because, like,
Yeah. There's heaps of them.
I can't. Yeah, there were heaps, and there's
Yeah.
so many fellas that I've coached over the years that
Yeah.
I can't remember them all.
Yeah, that was over 30 something years ago. So
Yeah.
30 plus.
Yeah. Tama, did you have as you moved from a player to coaching in there? What was your coaching philosophy, and did it sort of evolve over time?
Yeah, it has. I mean, my coaching philosophies and just how I coached the team, it did evolve as I went along. I mean, if you don't, you don't last long in the game. And but the one thing I always was sure about in terms of being a coach was trying to get the guys to be the best of themselves, to be the best that they could be, and they could be proud of themselves, and not just as rugby league players, but as human beings. You know, respecting their parents,
Yeah.
helping their brothers and sisters, um, standing alongside their teammates rather than going out there and doing things for themselves. You know, that kind of stuff. And I think that was always a coaching thing with me is that it's not about the individual. It's the team thing. It's the stuff I learned in Auckland, And if you did it well enough, then you got recognised as an individual that could do these type of things, and it would take you further than if you would just concentrated on yourself.
Yeah. But the one thing that you did too, which for coaches probably again is not what you'd see as usual today. Although there, definitely examples. Those you did an apprenticeship and with a whole lot of age grade teams and also representative age grade teams,
Yep.
and then made the shift to seniors. What was sort of that? What was anything noticeable in terms of that shift from coaching age players to moving to coach senior players? And particularly given the success that you'd had at junior level with junior teams.
My drive was to make St George the best club in Wellington, to be the best club in Wellington, um, and it had to start with the kids. And I see a guy doing that now with Upper Hutt, uh, Benny. So, and I
Ben
think
Lear.
you're right, Benny Lear. Yeah.
Is it?
Start with the kids and build them, build their, get a committee going. Uh, Make sure that every team's got a coach. Make sure the coach understands what he's doing. They don't just go there and be individuals, but coach along the lines of what's good for the club. Try to get everyone to do that. Um, so while I was a coach, I was also a committee member, an organizer to organise the parents. I remember before I even get onto that, one year I coached 4 teams, and every team made the grand final, and that was 90 or 91. It was our
Oh,
reserve grade.
we were involved then.
We went up from Premier Reserves and put us back into Premiers. Our under
Yes.
17s, under 15s, and our under 13s as well. And so I couldn't be in all 4 places. So
Wow.
the fact that I was getting parents to manage and coach teams at the same time, getting brothers and sisters to help with the teams at the same time, started to work for the club.
Yeah.
It was huge. It was huge. And then you know St George was rocking and rolling back in those days.
Yeah, we had to move kind of like rock and roll. Wills or Tiare
Solly.
or Solly.
Or Solly.
Yeah. We'll
We had a
say rock and
strong,
roll and then
we had a
yeah.
strong schoolboy side. We had a strong schoolboy club back then,
It did.
and it was with the help of all the parents. So you know, I'd like to just mahi to them because even though I'm the one saying, hey, look, we need this and we need that. Will you help? They actually have to step out of their comfort zone to do it because they all didn't want to be coaches. They just wanted to be parents to their kids and help their kids along. And next thing you know, I'm telling them, well, actually, you could be a coach at this team. You could. I'll come here and I'll start it off and I'll do this and do that. And then when you have questions, you come and see me. So I didn't really have a social life. I just had a St George life.
So George,
Busy.
But it worked. It worked for us. It worked for us. So
Tom, I don't want to. I just wanted to ask you a question. I know it's going back on it, but I know when you were playing in the, when you're up there in the rugby league world, or you're well known in Wellington. I know you had a stint with Porirua. Well, we're Porirua boys, but was that true? I remember being a young fella. Did you have a stint with Porirua City?
playing league for them,
Yeah. Did you ever have a?
no.
you didn't
No, you didn't.
It's the
Or
wrong
did you go to
time.
training? It's the wrong time again. Sorry about that.
I coached Porirua. No, I only played for St George.
Oh, to St George. Oh,
Well, there was a myth that you did play for Porirua, so I'm glad that you've sort of
yeah.
put it on the head.
Because someone. I can't even remember. I was only a kid then, but that's when I was playing with Tinga back in the. Yeah.
True.
I just heard, but I don't know if that was true.
No.
But that's why I just wanted to ask you.
Played in
I
the
thought you
touch
did.
teams and the masters teams with them.
Oh,
I played,
that would probably be it.
played Wellington Masters and Wellington Touch as well.
Thanks for clearing that up, Tama.
Well, anyway, I can remember playing under 15s when you coached us. I think this was my first time playing under your coaching, and like we went out, watched you play. Brian, what's his
Oh,
name?
yeah.
Brian Kay was our manager then. We
Yeah.
used to all hop in his van as well, and we went out to Upper Hutt to watch you play
Against Upper Hutt, eh?
against Upper Hutt against my idol, Adrian Shelford, prop Kiwi, and I don't know. I think you played in the forwards that day because you were mucking him all day.
Yeah, I was playing front row.
Yeah, because you were
You gave him up.
what do they call those fellas? Just go let him.
The hitman for Saints.
I was a tired old man by then, Tiari.
Oh, I could tell. That's what they figured was
He was just a young buck. So
yeah,
he
he
had
was. He was just running, so you just
to knock those young bucks however you could.
Tiani told us you were marking him that day.
Yeah, no, it was a good day. It was a good day.
I got to ask you, Tiari, did I do all right? Or did you run away with the game?
Oh, they ran away with it. Not by much.
Well, what the hell did you bring it up for then?
No, but you went up there, stood your ground, and
Now,
trying to show the boys, trying to show the young fellas, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
now, you, Tama, you've got the wonderful sort of record of having won a championship as a player and also sort of as a coach. Well, how was that winning that championship with Wainui like?
Oh,
90s. Yeah. 94.
Wainui, so different to St George. The whole community in Wainui is, like St George, Porirua is a close community, but it's a big community. But Wainui is a lot closer, and the whole community, if they follow the league, follow the one club. So they are strong in terms of you know their commitment to the club, to sport in general. And luckily, we've got people out here like Tana Umanga, Piri Wepu, Billy Wepu, Ken Laban, and all these other coaches out here that Elva that help all our youngsters in Wainui, because that's where I live now. And you're right, I ended up going over there and coaching, and I ended up just going over there to live because I decided my time as a coach had finished, and I needed to just get on with my life and do my what I was doing in my work. But they found out I was there a couple of years later and just, hey, come and coach our team. I try to say no, but in the end, people ask you for things, and you know that the best thing you can do is to help them. So I went and coached them, and we won it.
You won it.
Mm.
But I would say I was more like a director than a coach. These Wainu boys knew how to play, and they've been playing premiers and they've been playing finals for a while, so they knew what they needed to do. My job really was more to get them fit, um, try and organise a game plan, or work along with the leaders in the group to so that we had a basic game plan that would work. And so yeah, and so the leaders back in those days were Earl Maha, Billy Wupu, uh, uh, Michael Price. Geez, I'm forgetting one guy, and I know he'd be saying, "Hey, how come you didn't mention me?" But in any case,
I think
guys
it's
like
Delaney Edmonds, a
Delaney
number of
Edmonds,
players there. Yeah.
yeah, that's the guy I was thinking of. Delaney.
Yep.
Sorry, D. Yeah, and they knew how to play the game. They wanted to play the game. Uh, they had, yeah. So it was just about kind of like making sure that they all had the same focus, doing the same things at the same times, and for the betterment of the team. So I didn't really have to do that much coaching with them. Uh, but come to the playoffs, we played North, I think, and we beat them by a humongous score in the first playoffs. They went back, played Randwick, and beat Randwick, and so we met them in the final. And I think just quietly that we were a little bit overconfident because we'd beaten them by so much, but we tried not to. I was just trying to let them know that hey, that's gone. This is the grand final, and some of them understood that. Most of them, I hope, by half time. But in any case, we started off that game, and North scored the first. Purito scored the first three tries, I think. Uh, so it kind of like set us on our bum a little, and then had to make some changes at halftime. Billy was playing centres, and he was
Wow.
wrecking them.
Carving up.
Yeah, but yeah, I had to bring him back into the forwards because just settle our forwards down. And once he went there, um,
Well, we switched on, eh?
Go
yeah,
forward.
switched.
Yeah.
The whole thing changed, and we just steamrolled them from there.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
came to the final. I think one of the guys said one of the Puriru guys said to us at the function after, he goes, "Oh man, you guys lucky, eh? Lucky to win." And someone said to him, "Made another 10 minutes and would have been another 20 points." So, and honestly, that's how it would have been because that's the kind of psyche that these guys had.
Yeah.
You just had to tune it in, and once you got it tuned in, they were
We
away.
were there.
They were there.
I was there that day. I was there with Winnie because you usually just follow the MP around, and she was there, and it was really good sort of watching the game. I remember talking to Ken Eruera before the
Oh, yeah.
game, and we looked at some stats, and it was one thing that stuck out, and you've mentioned it, was the high points average that Wainui had. So it was that if they were going to get in a position to get a lot of possession, the potential to score a lot of points was good. And Porirua at the time had a lower, they conceded more points. So you could see some points where that if the game took a certain sort of path, you could see sort of a Wainui result just based on the stats of you guys through the season and that. But in saying that, to see the sort of the full time siren and it was something that was more. I was not less sort of cheering for Wainui, but just glad that you had sort of been able to sort of coach a championship side in the competition. So it was a really good day.
Yeah, it was. I mean, um, just again, it's for me, it's about watching the guys get the best out of themselves and knowing what they had to do that. And like I think with even with the schoolboy teams that I had, it was hoping, not so, no, not hoping, knowing that on the day we'd put enough work in during the year for the guys to know that on the day when they were going to win, if they wanted to win their championship for the team, then they had to just put it together and trust in themselves and their teammates beside them, because we'd done all the work. We'd shown how confident we could be. We were showing that we had the skills to do all of this stuff. And so I wasn't a big talker for grand finals or anything like that. I just had this belief, unshaken belief, that you've done all the work, you've done your time, you know what you're there for, you'll get the job done. And most of the times it worked. Most of the times it worked. Every now and then it didn't. I want to talk about this one team that I had, Wainui, under 13s, under 13s, under 14s, or under 11s actually. There were two teams, that there were enough players for two teams. So the coach that coached them the year before took his players, and he said, "Well, you can have these guys." And like, my mokoboy was one of them, and so the idea was, well, my mokoboy was going to play for me in any case, no matter what. So, and then I get the team together. Come on, guys, let's go. We can start training. And then one of the guys goes, "Nah, I don't want to play." I go, "What's the matter? Why?" And I said, "Well, if you don't really want to play, you don't have to, mate." And he goes, "Well, that's not fair. They got all the good players, and it's just us." I go, "What do you mean by that?" And he goes, "Well, they all know how to play, and they've got some really good players there. We just we're just the leftovers." And I went, "Oh, okay. And is that how you think?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, and you don't want to play?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, then you don't have to play." And then I said, "How do you fellas feel, the rest of you?" And they went, "Oh, we don't know enough of rugby league. We haven't got enough skills." And I said, "Well, this is what I can do. I can teach you those skills.
Yeah.
And if you learn those skills, you'll be good enough to actually go out there and be competitive against other teams. But it's not going to happen in a day. So there's two rounds, and then there's the finals. In this first round, all we're going to do is learn the skills and trust one another. So try and make all the tackles you can. Some you don't even know how to tackle. No, okay. You know how to play the ball. No. So we had to really get back to basics. And we never won any game in the first round, but we got more, and we were getting beaten by 40, 50 points.
Mm.
The hardest part was saying to them, "Look, don't give up. We'll get better. We'll get better." And we did. By the end of the first round, I think we played 8 games in that first round, and the closest loss was 20 points, I think. The second round, um, we played the first team we played in the first round, and they'd beaten us by 50, 60 points. And I said, "Right, this is what we need to do. We have to make sure that when we tackle, we get up and play the ball properly. When we are defending, we defend together as a team. Who nominate who's the first in, who's the second tackler, and I want a third tackler in there, putting him on the ground, holding him down so we can get into that kind of stuff. Just basic stuff." And so they did it. We still lost, but we only lost by 10. And then, man, you should have seen the change in them. They just started to believe, because we got thrashed by 70 the first 60, 70 the first time, and then we only just lost by 10. The second team, they only beat us by 30 or 40 points. So there was this belief that, hey, if we try hard enough, if we do the things the coach told us to do, and it was basic, like 3 hit ups, out the backs, bring the ball back to the centre, get ready for our kick chase, that kind of stuff. And right then, I wasn't trying to be too technical about where you do the hit ups and all that. As long as we kept a basic plan going all the time, and we defended together as a team. And then we won our second game. The team that beat us, we won our second game. Then we won our third game. Then we lost the fourth game. That really put us back into, made them think about, well, hey, we're not as good as we thought we were. We just need to keep practicing the basics. And then we ended up playing our other team,
Mm.
and we ended up beating them. And that
Oh.
changed the whole psyche. That changed the whole psyche of the team. We had this one guy in our team. I got to mention this. Like, he was like Superman. Give him the ball, and that's when we first played. Give him the ball, and he'll score our tries for us. But one man can't take a whole team on, and he got
Yeah.
tired, which is fair enough. So we learned how to use him, and we had to do the bits so that when he got the ball, we were certain he was going to score a try because we'd done the work.
Yeah.
So by the time we got to play the other team, our other winery team, the guys were pretty confident that we'd give them a good show. They didn't think that. One guy says, "Oh, we're not going to beat them, but we're going to give them a good go." The coach, and I went, "Good on you." Oh hell, we beat them.
That's the belief, eh? You gave them that
And
belief.
that kind of, like, a lot of those boys ended up playing, for winery. A lot of the boys in that other team ended up playing in the same team with them, and so they were always mates, but these lot didn't know how to play.
So, Tama, what special play did you play for so Superman can get the try? What was your move for him to get the
So
tries?
again, our three hit-ups,
Yeah.
like, he could play prop, second row, loose forward,
True.
second fullback. Our three hit-ups was to drag the fence in, and then two pass wide, and he's standing out there.
Yeah.
None of
Ready
those
to
guys
go.
tackle him. All he needed was space. Give him a
Yeah.
bit of space. And
So
then
what
after
was that? 80s? Was that 80, 90?
No, dude.
When did you coach the 14? Oh, I mean, the 11s?
That was in Wainui, eh?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What year?
Oh,
Oh, crikeys. 2011. That's like,
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Oh, so he's still playing then, Superman?
no, he's not.
Oh,
he's not.
okay.
Oh,
No, his dad wanted him to go and play rugby,
Oh, yeah.
and I think he's got a family, so he's not playing. But I wish he was. He would have made rep teams and everything. He was this unbelievable player. He even got Club Player of the Year that year for Winery. That's how good he was. But no, he's not playing. I don't think he played very much after that either. So that was a big loss.
Tama, it really talks to an important thing, like around creating an environment where people can sort of achieve or start to sort of see their own sort of growth and evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that you see when you're working with teams as just natural, or do you sort of look at the group of people that you're working with and trying to figure out what's that environment you got?
Yeah, and you have to pick the leaders to do that.
Yeah.
You can't just expect the whole team to take it all on.
Yeah.
And you pick, like, when you're training the guys, you see which ones are trained to a pattern, which ones take in the information, which ones offer their opinions, which ones will offer you their opinions even if it's wrong, which ones think that they are leaders but are, more individual than leaders, because leaders have to think of the team. And it doesn't take long. I mean, and they learn to trust you, and you got to trust them. So, and then I've had differences of opinions with players that were good in their own right, or players that weren't good enough, but couldn't accept the fact that I was saying, look, you need to do this, you need to learn a little bit more, you need to do certain things to make a game, and they wouldn't believe that. They're thinking that I'm picking on them, that I'm my favourites, but it was never like that. I was never that type of person. Even though I let Charlie drive me.
Yeah, I was going to say you never had favorites.
So we're going back then now.
House sitting. You.
Yeah. How silly, because he can only trust me.
Yeah.
That was off the paddock, ATR.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
You have to show that. You have to show that kind of stuff off the paddock too. Some of you fellas just do all the stuff on the paddock.
Yeah.
And you finish your training. You are these different beasts. You want to go out and have a few beers, or you want to go out and chase girls, or you want to do whatever you want to do. Not Tiari.
Nah.
We have
Yeah.
that focus, right? We was
Someone,
farming.
I just wanted to thank you too as well. In those years, of us growing up and stuff, you're always that role model. You're always patient with us. You know, I had a heap to say, and a lot of those things were, just weren't really important. But I just thank you as a human being as well, as a father figure for us, for me. Being that role model for me, because you were that kind of person. You actioned it, and you know you said what you've done, and especially with the coaching as well. You're always patient with us.
Yeah,
That's what I noticed with you,
Mm.
Tama. Always patient, and nothing sort of made you go the wrong way or get upset with us. I never heard it from you. It was always just that, just calm,
Humble,
collective,
humble,
and
humble.
humble. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Tama. I also just wanted to, bring up that the home was it the community work that you used to do, around Porirua, and still today. I know you with the healthy homes. I wanted to ask you that. You're still in that current role with the healthy homes.
my
Um,
my whole outlook to the coaching in terms of trying to make the people be the best that they can be. That lit the light in my head, lit the fuse in terms of what I wanted to do in my life. And I loved it as a coach. I mean, yeah, I didn't want to be this growly, angry, negative fellow as a coach. I, I wanted to not give of myself, but give to you guys ideas and to bolster your imagination to be the best that you could be. So when you guys made it to the premieres and when we moved, everything moved on. I was disappointed, like when we made it from reserves to prems, and then that year, we had our first year in prems, and then the next year, some of you guys left. I was a bit disappointed, but like if it was about me, I would have bloody thrown things around and come around and broke all your fellas' windows and all that. I done all this stuff, and you fellas didn't. Now you're going somewhere. But it wasn't about me. It was about you guys, and I wanted you to be the best that you could be, and if that had to be you went somewhere else. The big disappointment to me was that it wasn't for St George, and that's what it was all about for me. It was like I wanted this club to be the best it could be. But when I left, things didn't change with St George. Things got better and better and better, and so now St George is still at the top there. So, you know, it didn't do the club any harm, and it allowed you guys to be the best of yourselves. So I was quite happy with that. My work life, I took that same, I took that same, uh, what's the word?
Philosophy.
I took that same vision into my work life. No longer did I want to be this grunty
yeah,
ditch digger, truck driver, muscle muscle gets the job done. I get paid. Go and have a beer, fella.
yeah,
I wanted to help our farming,
community,
help the
yeah,
community,
fun,
and so that's what and I'm still doing it.
yeah,
I'm still doing
yeah,
it. I should have retired, but when I got people asked me to come back and help, especially my darling asked me to come back and help her. First, it was just to uh, put her furniture into the new offices, but I get there and find out that it's all kit set, and it takes me 3 weeks to get everything all done.
Oh,
Where's your Allen key?
You need an Allen
it's
key.
reading the instructions.
Yeah, and they have to follow instructions on how to put all the desks and the chairs,
End up with extra screws.
put all that stuff together. So once I got that done, hey, you want to come and work with us? So
Yeah.
she's my boss at home and my boss at work, but I get to sleep with the boss.
But do you hold the belt? No. No.
Why what?
Do you hold the belt to, so the pants are up?
You know what? Over here I can say yes, but if she hears this, no, there's no such thing in our we I think we're of the same mind in terms of what we want to do for ourselves and for our families and for our community. We're of that same mind. I think in terms of brain power, she's got a lot more than I have, but we're of the same mind, and so we work. Like they say, opposites attract. Well, don't. It's not always the case. We're of the same mind, and man, we work really well together. And I trust her, and she trusts me. And so, our working life was just as good as our home life.
So Tama, what's the name of the company that you're working for? Healthy Homes?
So
No.
we work for Kokiri Marae Haura. Kokiri Marae Haura. It's run by Teresa Olsen and the Olsen family. Teresa works in the health area, and the branch of that is Cheryl, my partner Cheryl. She runs the Tukatahi Māori Asthma Society, or Māori Asthma Trust, and a couple of her contracts. One of them is the Well Homes, another one is the Tuanui Project, and another one is research. And so I'm a researcher as well.
Yeah.
And this lady juggles all of these things, and plus a few more things as well.
Wow.
Um,
Johnny's laughing about that. Don't know
I'm-
why.
I really am. I'm blessed to be in this type of work. I'm blessed
Yeah.
that I met Teresa Olsen from Kokiri Marae. My vision in terms of helping our whānau, and then I
Yeah.
get to see this lady that's been doing it for years in any case.
Yeah. Oh.
So she goes, "Yep, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Oh, I want to help my whānau to give up smoking." She goes, "Yeah, you can do that, but just be aware that there's other things at this marae that you're going to be doing." And so,
Like helping Star put those crates up their flagpole.
Billy
Those-
Dale's house, and
Yeah, I see those videos, Star.
yeah, he can do that. But all of them, they've become our family. We've become one family.
Yeah.
I'm really close to the Olsons now. We're really close to the Olsons now. I feel like family. I love that lady. She has kept the fires burning in terms of what I wanted to do and how I want to do things.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about going to work at Kokiri Marae. You're not there to go and work 9 to 5. You're there to go and do your job and get it done well and make sure that you do the job to the best of your ability.
Tama, with the current mahi, to talk about the current mahi, because it's really important in terms of insulation for homes and families, and also healthier families with, more sort of secure, dry homes.
Yeah, you said it all. So, and that's it. We don't go there to try and tell the families, hey, your home's this, your home's that, your home's this. You need to change all of those. We're there to say, we want your homes to be the warmest, the safest, and the driest it can be for you and your kids and your family. And then we kind of like tell them the things that they show them the things that they can improve in their home to get these done without it being a huge financial cost. And also we show them that actually the government set up programs where you can get your insulation and your the heat pump at a percentage rather than the full cost.
Yeah.
So there's lots of little things that the government's willing to help you with to make your home safe, warm, safe, and dry.
Mm.
Um, ev- I've got to say, like every house I've been to, people I walk out and people are going, "Oh, thank you for that, bro," or "Thank you for that, Tama," or "Yeah, I never knew that," or "I've learned so much." And they've been living in their houses for a while, but this is about teaching them that if your house is warm, your kids are happy. If you like going to putting your kids to bed at night and putting lots of blankets on them so that they can be warm, but the house is cold, and they're lying in bed breathing in all that cold air, and their lungs haven't matured yet, so
Yep.
it's affecting their lungs, and so they could be susceptible to um, bronchial or
Mm.
breathing issues.
Breathing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Breathing.
I know.
it's just about making them see stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then they fully understand. Okay, we need to change this. Oh well, the heater using the heater costs too much money, so we don't want to. Well, then the reason this is the reason. Some of the reasons why your heating costs a lot of money. Your doorway has got all those gaps at the side of the door, and that's where all the warm air goes out. Your windows, you leave the windows open in some of the rooms, and that's where all the heat goes out. Um, some of the windows are broken. Some of the, all these little bits and pieces, they all add up to where you lose heat. And people think, people will turn their heaters on around the areas that the whānau are sitting, and that'll warm them up there, but then they go into their rooms
Yeah.
and they're cold. So it's just about giving them that information so that they can take better care of their kids. And I tell you, a lot of the families that we go into, they do their best to look after their kids, but they don't know enough
Mm.
to help to keep them warm, or they think it's going to cost too much money, or and and so we have to show them these things that will help them. And we've been getting some awesome responses.
Well, look, we're definitely happy to share some of those links and contact points where people can sort of follow up, and we'll have those in the post and chat with that as well. So it definitely sort of it's really good sort of work that you're doing and really grassroots in terms of reaching those families who don't necessarily have access to some of those sort of services or have experiences that sort of make them a bit shy in terms of coming forward.
Yeah, yeah, and that's true. Some of our whānau, they've been the people have come and helped them, or said that they're there to help, and haven't actually kind of given them the help that they really need. And I'm not saying that we give them all the help that they need too, because we can only do so much. It's just about giving them the knowledge to help themselves, really. It's like being a coach. You give the kids, you give you guys the knowledge, and you go and help yourselves. You can be or do anything you want in your life. It's like the same in families.
Yeah. Now, sort of, Tama, we're heading into that final sort of thing of today, and just so much in terms of sort of learning it. There, any sort of final words as we sort of close? And I know we'll talk a little bit more, but yeah, just what's those final words as we sort of start to reach the end of our Talanoa today?
Oh, crikeys. For me, it's about acknowledging people. Firstly, I want to acknowledge all the young fellas that I've coached, um, because I've seen as life's progressed, the progress that a lot of yous have made, and how you've become parents, and how you've taken that responsibility to be good parents, with your kids, and passing on the good information, that'll help your kids grow. Um, I have had the privilege to work with a whole network of communities, I've worked in the prisons. I've worked at quit smoking. I've worked in the hospitals, all doing the same type of work, but the contracts are, taken to different areas, and working with CEOs and all the likes down to the patients. Um, and it's all about passing on the same types of messages. If we can give you the information to help yourself and you take yourself forward by using that information to the best that you can, that will benefit your family, then my work is done.
That's cool. That's a really, really sort of nice way to sort of close off in terms of the session today. I know there's actually a million other things I know we wanted to ask and call it,
Yeah.
but I think we'll definitely look to probably get you back.
Yeah. Have to.
Hey,
But
yeah, Tom, I'd just like to thank you for being a mentor from when I was growing up, as you know. And being there for us from when we first met you right up to now. Obviously, as you already mentioned, how a lot of us have now we're parents and we're grandparents. So you're part of that journey with us still, and just like to acknowledge you being there.
yeah.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Tiana.
So look, Tama, just to close out on sort of behalf of us three, just really appreciate the time that you've been able to spend with us in terms of talking through this. Really great in terms of talking around sort of those origins, that background, the playing career, the coaching career. And as I say, I think there's a million other stuff we'd want to sort of ask you on that as well. But I think, as Tiali and Te Ho have said, just really our appreciation and our thanks just for your wonderful service to the community over many years through rugby league and through a number of other sort of endeavours that you're doing now. I think you're very special to us three and very special to many more. Just for that work that you've done and the influence and impact that you've had on our lives along the way as well. So really appreciate you coming in today and having a chat with the pod crew.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. It's a new experience, kind of really sitting here talking about it.
Yeah. Tom, does that mean that Charlie gets a car parking, when your whānau, your house? Or?
Well, I'll just tell you, Charlie, I got my new car out there, and and we're gonna go for lunch so you can look at it.
Where you going? We'll talk after this.
We'll get it. We'll sort this out and then go.
Yeah.
Now, so look, thanks everyone in terms of for the episode today, and again our appreciation to Tama. As you can see, join our Facebook page, Blood, Sweat and Talanoa. We're aiming to try and get to 500 sort of members. We'll be doing a preview as we come up for episode sort of 8, but this is a really good way in terms of this episode was a special one for us and definitely special in terms of sitting down with Tama. So it's one that we've sort of had a really great experience for. So we'll see everyone in episode 8.
Yeah.
Haere rā.
Ka kite.
Ka kite.
Ka kite.
Hane?